لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. It's still our special program. The first 10 days is Dhul Hijjah. Yes, we are trying to bring you some enlightenment process for you to take some tips on what to do on this, the entire month, and other months of the Hijrah calendar. Yes, at all times. You know that ayah of the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ. We have not created any soul except to worship Allah. So, that is exactly what we are trying to do here, get tips. And it's innovative, it's one of its kind on any TV station. This 10 days is going to be bumper. We started yesterday, this is another edition. And of course, you know, I told you it's participatory. You have a chance to win from an array of gifts. Remember that just like we did in Ramadan, where do you send your answers to? Our Facebook page, of course. Ames Media Company Limited. It's our Facebook page. Go sort it out and send your answer there. Of course, you know, first person that answers the question correctly would be a winner. Remember the question we asked, what are those special or sacred days in Islamic calendar? And that is what we are going to be focusing on today. So if you didn't get it right, you have an opportunity to be enlightened. You call it sacred, you call it special. How many of you do engage in voluntary fasting? Why do we do that in certain days in the month? Well, I have an in-house ustaz, but first, let's give you this message. Let's give you this Vox Pop interview from our cleric on the field. When we come back, it will be an interactive session. But not before we say thank you to our partners, Aspira Nigeria Limited, and Zakat and Sadaqah Foundation. And of course, Biggie, you can still be part of it too. You don't want to get ladder in this special season. It's part of it. If you support our cause, it's part of the Sadaqah, and then the reward will accrue to you. We'll be back shortly.
There are 4 months in Islam that are regarded as sacred, and the first of them is Dhul Qa'dah, Shawwal, then Dhul Qa'dah. So Dhul Qa'dah is the first of the sacred months. Then there is Dhul Hijjah. Dhul Hijjah is the month of Hajj, and then there is Muharram, which is the first month of the Islamic calendar. Dhul Hijjah is the last, the 12th month of the Islamic calendar, and then there is Rajab. So Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, Muharram, and Rajab are the sacred months in Islam. And in the Islamic traditions, the Muslims are not allowed to wage a war in any one of these months. Unless they are attacked, a war is waged against them, then they have to defend themselves. So one of the virtues of these 4 months is that Muslims are not allowed to fight against themselves or to fight even against other people as the initiator of the strife.
60 seconds. Grab away. Hold them tight. Sit down on it. Hold them tight.
As we count down to Eid Kabir 1445 AH, let us celebrate with those with special needs.
Of have had pleasure having this celebration.
Games.
1 second. Stop.
Drama.
Ismail, you want to know the meaning of your name, right?
Yes, Abu said.
Quiz.
Is Eid al-Adha celebrated on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah? Jazakumullah khairan for coming.
Counsel from veterans.
You have to be intelligent. You have to be brilliant. Islam is a religion of peace.
Everything you are doing, commit it to the hand of Almighty Allah.
There is no prayer that Allah cannot answer.
With lots to eat, drink, and exotic gifts to take away, beyond the spiritual lessons of the season.
To think of the middle class, also to think of the downtrodden. So our content is hinged on content for developmental broadcasting.
Let us celebrate with them to give them their pride of place and put a smile on their faces. Eid Mubarak in advance.
لك والملك لا شريك لك.
Welcome back. First 10 days in Dhul Hijjah is a special program, and this is day 2. It's a great pleasure. You have heard all what the people on the field said. Do you allude to them? Well, we have an in-house guest to debunk or allude to what they have said. It's a great pleasure to welcome back to the studios of IMS Media Company Limited, Dr. Mustafa Adebayo Bello. You're welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me.
He's a senior lecturer of Department of Religious and Peace Studies of Lagos State University. Now, what are those special days? Some people call it sacred, some call it special. Do we have such days in the Islamic calendar?
Of course, there are such days, depending on the way you look at them. The prophets had advised Muslims to fast on Mondays and Thursdays. And because of the need to engage in abstinence, which is called fasting, so Mondays and Thursdays of every week can then be considered as sacred and very, very important for Muslims.
Let me put you on the spot there, since we are trying to talk Islamic or Islam.
Yeah.
Mondays and Thursdays, I found you one thing there. What are the Islamic names for these days?
Mondays is called Yawm al-Ithnain.
Okay.
And that is Monday. And Thursday is Yawm al-Arba'a.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that means we are counting them
from Sunday.
So Sunday is also our first day of the lunar calendar or week.
Yeah.
Okay, Ithnain means 3. Arba means 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Salas means 3. Arba means 4.
I'm learning. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So continue.
Okay, thank you. So you have Mondays and Thursdays, and of course Friday is the best day of the week. Okay. By the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that's why Muslims congregate beyond the normal prayers of the daily prayers. The Zuhr prayer of a Friday is subsumed in the Jumat service. So Friday is equally a very important day, and because it's also Eid, we are not expected to fast on Fridays.
So I heard.
Except if there is a reason. Perhaps we've been fasting before. We have made up the voluntary fasting. You have made up your mind to fast for 7 days, for instance. So Friday will be part of those days. So you are allowed.
Sorry, sir. I don't know about 7 days. For instance, I know about 6 Sita Shawwal, which is 6 days.
Yep.
So I don't see why anybody would want to fast for 7 days.
You can decide to fast for 20 days or 21. It's a voluntary fasting.
Voluntary.
It's your own.
Remember that hadith that says that one Sahaba went to meet the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, me, I want to fast all through. And the Rasul told him that, me, I fast and I eat. You understand? So for you to, if it is not Ramadan, I want to continue to fast for 20 days.
I'm saying, look, Allah has given.
Because I know other people from other things that will fast continuously.
Every devotee the leverage to find a means of seeking nearness to Him.
All right.
So if as a person I decide to say I want to fast for 21 days.
Which is not punitive. You know there are some offense you do.
No,
you have to go.
I'm not talking about punitive.
You know, you remember that there are some offenses. For instance, if you don't kill.
I am not even looking at that.
Okay. So somebody can just say
you can decide
20 days.
Yeah, I want to fast. 3 days, 4 days.
Okay.
That it is you. It is you.
Okay.
It becomes an issue if you are now recommending it for others.
All right.
But as an individual, you want to seek a means of nearness to Allah. You can decide I want to fast for 4 days, 5 days.
And you talked about Friday, that Friday we should not fast. For instance, you start Sita Shawwal, particularly for somebody who has not started early. Let me quickly hurry up and do this obligation.
And those are the exceptions.
Exceptions.
Yes.
Okay.
That you can fast on Friday, but you want to fast for a day, you must not choose Friday as a day.
What's the wisdom about that?
The wisdom is that Friday is Eid to us.
Okay.
So Muslims are expected to come out
to celebrate,
to felicitate themselves.
Okay.
And so fasting, because there are restrictions, that things you cannot do when you are fasting. So in order for us to be able to marry,
felicitate,
that is why the Prophet said, don't fast on the Friday.
Great. What is the wisdom in fasting for, they said, the middle of the month, 13, 14, 15th? Okay.
You know, the concept of fasting in Islam is for Muslims to be able to come near to Allah, to be nearer to Allah. So, and if just like we do salat every day, if fasting is restricted to only Ramadan, it means that the means of using fasting as a means of seeking nearness to Allah, you do it only once in a year. And that's why the Prophet encouraged that if you look at it, if you pick 2 days of every week in the month, that is 8 days. If you had 3 days of 13, 14, 15, that would be 13 days. It's a quarter of the month. Okay. Or a third of every month Muslims are.
So Allah wants to encourage you to remain in the state of purity.
Beyond that, it's also to assist us, fasting serve not just for reasons of spirituality, even for medical reasons too. Okay. So particularly those of us who eat a lot. So if if you want to diet, you want to bring down your weight, there's a way you do it, that when you are doing it, you are earning barakah, you are also taking care of yourself medically.
Interesting.
So that is the wisdom behind it. Okay. So that Muslims will have about 13 days of every month.
Okay, let me reverse a bit. When we're talking about the first edition yesterday, when we're talking about the sacred month, there may be 1 or 2 things that you didn't buttress on. We'll come back to this topic because I still have some questions I want to ask you. Is there anything we left out?
The only thing we didn't mention, that I feel we didn't mention, was to look at the wisdom behind the choice of lunar calendar over solar for the observance of Islamic
But I asked that question, maybe you didn't tell because...
let me just put it to our viewers and those who are watching that. There is a wisdom behind it. It's not because Allah despises the solar calendar. No. I mentioned in Quran 10 verse 6, Allah mentioned that He has designed both the lunar and the solar for the reasons of counting of years and estimation of periods of time. So, but in the point of view of the advantage of lunar is the fact that it brings convenience to all Muslims and for the purpose of equity. For instance, if Ramadan is specific, if you use the lunar calendar, the solar, and Ramadan is in December, it means some persons in parts of the world will be advantaged over other persons.
Even now, there are some people advantaged. There is a longer period in some parts of the world.
In some parts of the world.
Longer period day
and shorter period of night. So, and if you now look at it, for instance, this Ramadan, we have it in the dry season. By next year, we're moving into the
wet season.
No, not dry season again, just 10 days. Okay. And in 2-3 years' time, we'll be in the wet season, in the rainy season. So, and this too for every other Muslim, every other part of the world. So people were able to fast throughout the year, in different seasons of the year. So it won't be said that, oh, Allah loved the Arabs more than the Africans.
So lunar is it?
Is it? It's for equity, it's for convenience.
Interesting. The program is still the first 10 days in Hijjah. And today we are looking at those special days. We are not done yet. In fact, there is a particular special day that we have to talk about. Special thanks again to our partners, Aspira, ZSF, and Biggie. You can also join. Remember that you're also part of this program. It's interactive. Answer our questions and send your answers to our Facebook page, Ames Media Company Limited. Let's go to the market. Let's appreciate our partners more. We're back to continue the conversation.
As for the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, these are the best days of the year, as the Prophet ﷺ made us know. There are no righteous deed done in other days better, more beloved, more virtuous in the sight of Allah, more than what we do in the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. These are regarded as the best days of the year. In fact, this is a great end of the year bonus given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And right in there, the Prophet ﷺ, when he said this, the companions asked him, how about fighting in the cause of Allah, struggling in the cause of Allah? The Prophet ﷺ said, not even the reward of struggling in the cause of Allah will be better than the righteous deed done in these first 10 days, except someone that once goes out fighting in the cause of Allah and he left his home with his life and every part of his property, and none returned with him. He finished everything in the cause of Allah, both his life and his wealth. This is one that the reward would compete with the reward of righteous deed done in these days. And one of the reasons that made these days so virtuous and so unique is the presence of the ninth day, which is referred to as Yawm al-Arafah, the day of Arafah. It is the best day. That singular day is regarded as the best day of the year. As Laylatul Qadr is regarded as the best night of the year, Yawm al-Arafah takes the best day of the year. This is the day Allah emancipates people from hell. This is the day that fasting on that day expiates sins of 2 years, as said by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In fact, the 9th day and the 10th day seem to be very virtuous days. The 10th day being the day we slaughter those that has gone for Hajj would be slaughtering their hadiyah for Allah that day, while those at home will be slaughtering their udhiyah for Allah, and with expectation that Allah emancipates us from hell. He salvages us from hell and makes us dwellers of Jannah.
Let's enjoy this happy day. Eid Mubarak.
As this year's Eid al-Adha gets closer, many families won't be celebrating since there is no means.
The Eid is around, and we are so happy that the Eid is around. Many Muslims are happy, while several others are not happy because they do not have the means to slaughter ram. Why not let us join the Prophet ﷺ in his own Qurbani way, the way he slaughtered his own ram? He bought one for himself and bought one for several people that will not be able to make it. Now, we can as well do that. We've started these projects over the years in Zakat and Zakah Foundation. Our approach is that we gather this money, we encourage people to buy their own and buy for those who will not have. So please join this project by making your own donation. You can decide to buy a cow, you can buy ram, you can buy sheep, and you can as well make a donation. Nothing is too much and nothing is too small.
Your donations and contributions will go a long way to put smiles on the faces of many Muslims and their loved ones. Qurbani Project today and help make many Muslim families happy. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Enjoy this happy day. Eid Mubarak. لك والملك لا شريك لك.
Welcome back to the studios of Ames Media Company Limited, and the program is a special half hour enlightening us on the first 10 days in Hijjah. What are those things we need to do? Call it very special, but how special can it be comparative to other days of the Islamic calendar? I still have with us here in the studio Dr. Mustafa Adibayo Bidlu of LASU. You are welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Now, are there other special days that we should take cognizance of? Not that they are more special than, Allah cannot be unjust to say a special day, a sacred day and all that. Other days are special, isn't it?
Of course, for instance, in Ramadan, we have Laylatul Qadr, which is the night of majesty. We also have the other, for instance, if you look at in terms of the virtue of every day of the year, we mentioned yesterday that the 4 months, sacred months, that all the days of those days and the nights of those 4 months, Muslims are not expected to engage in any form of quarreling, wrangling, malice keeping, fighting of any kind. In fact, they are supposed to reconcile with those they disagree with while in that month, because it is stated in the Quran that in those months, la tazlim, you should not quarrel at all. So the days of Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, Muharram, and Rajab are special days and special nights that Muslims should avoid. Even domestic quarreling between couples. We must. If we are quarreling before Dhul Hijjah, we must settle. Please, those who are washing, husband, don't quarrel with your wives. And wives, this is the month to reconcile with your husband. In this particular season, no art of malice keeping is allowed for Muslims. So Muslims must be in peace, with themselves, peace with people around them, and peace in their neighborhood. That is the essence of this period of time. And now if that categorized in terms of days, the Prophet of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the best of all days of the year is Yawm Arafah.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Now let's go back to some of these days. You talked about Laylatul Qadr, but we are also told, even though we are not talking Ramadan here, but we are talking of Islamic days, we are also told that the last 10 days, today we are talking of first 10 days in Zulhijjah, we are told that last 10 days in Ramadan has some form of specialty. Is that true?
It's true, because in one of those last 10 days is Laylatul Qadr.
Okay.
And because Muslims were not told in exactitude which of the days or the nights of the 10 nights is Laylatul Qadr. And that's why the Prophet advised that we should take those last 10 days and nights special.
I think it is nights specifically.
No.
Okay.
No. You know, people make a lot of allusions. People say it is the 27th night. There are traditions that people allude to the fact that Ibn Abbas said is the 27th night. There are those who say it is 29th. But whichever, the last 10 nights of Ramadan are special, because in one of those 10 nights is Laylatul Qadr. Okay. And don't forget, it's also in that period that Muslims are encouraged to go for itikaf. Okay. So they are expected to go for itikaf, that seclusion in the mosque, which is for the purpose of being awake for Laylatul Qadr. So the last 10 nights of Ramadan, and in Quran chapter 89, Surah Al-Fajr, you find where Allah made allusion to Walayalin Ashri. And Allah said, I swear by the 10 nights. Okay. And there are some Mufassirs who said those 10 nights are the 10 nights of Muharram. Some said it is 10 nights of Zulhijjah, while some say it is 10 nights of Ramadan.
Interesting. Okay, now, as part of the days, though we have a special day for Arafah. We'll talk about that in a few days to come. But since we are talking of special days, let's talk about the Arafah briefly, in a way that can enable us to prepare towards it. You know, because the Arafah day seems to be one of those special days. Yes. How about that?
Yes, in an hadith related by Ibn Abbas, while he was giving interpretation to the word Walayal in Ashir, said what Allah was referring to there were the first days and the nights of Zulhijjah. And that will culminate on the 9th of Zulhijjah, which is the day of Arafah, and which the Prophet said there is no day on the surface of the earth that is as as excellent, meritorious as the day of Arafah. It is the day that Allah will look down on earth and will invite the angels that come and look at them. At the point when I wanted to create Adam and his progeny, you raise issues. You are apprehensive that don't create those who will cause mischief on land, who will shed their own blood, who will cause a lot of anarchy. Yeah, they are doing it, but look at this special brand, special select people in their millions serving me on the same plate that day. So Allah said, I will be proud of you on that day. And that's why the Prophet said, there is no day, there is no replica of Arafah on any days of the year.
So the meaning that there is a real actually special day.
Yes, and that's one of us. That's all we must be warming up now.
And that is why even when you are not on Hajj, you are encouraged to fast, right?
We are encouraged to fast.
Interesting. All right, so in a nutshell, is there any other thing you want to say about this, that the one we said before, or these special days, to also encourage and motivate people?
I want to encourage us that in these 10 days is not too long a time that we cannot sacrifice, that we cannot offer for ourselves in the service of Allah. Look at yourself, what you've been doing for the past years. But in these 10 days, remove them, run away from sin. We should dedicate our lives to God, be more prayerful, engage in supplication, ensure that even those that you have quarreled with in the past, reconcile with them. Let there be family bonding this time. Husbands who come late at home, come late every day. This is the time to go home very early. let the children know that you are the father. And mothers who are also susceptible to anger all the time with the children. This is the time for you to be gentle with them. Let them know that it's a special season. And that special season will culminate in Arafah, and the second day will be at Eid.
And who knows, they can even emulate that afterwards.
And so when you learn that in this period, you can now take it beyond the days of
the 10 days.
The 10 days.
Interesting. I hope you have heard all that. So if you are found wanting, no pride this time. If you want to earn barakah of Allah, even if you know that somebody has offended you, no pride. Just go to the person and say, Salaam alaikum. How far now? The person will be shocked. And this person have offended that I don't think he or she will ever talk to me against the one. So everybody swallow your pride. Earn barakah from Allah. Just like the Ustaz said, so that you can earn. And if you are worshiping, you're doing acts of ibadah. If you have animosity in your mind, that barakah that ibadah may not be accepted. Do not mean talk about. You see? Look. All right, so remember that this program is participatory. We want you to also, engage with us via our Facebook page, Ames Media Company Limited. Ustaz has said a lot. There's a lot more to say for these 10 days that we are bringing this program to you. What are those things you are encouraged to do in these 10 days of Dhul Hijjah? First 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Remember, the first person that answers correctly, we went from an array of gifts courtesy of ZSF, Aspira Nigeria Limited, and Biggie. It made easy for you. We are reassured of that. So what are those acts you are meant to do in these first 10 days? Encourage to do, and Bismillah, take it further. That has been the program today. Like we said, send your answer to our Facebook page, Ames Media Company Limited. Ustaz, thank you very much for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure.
It's a continuous enlightenment process. We hope you'll be back here with us same time tomorrow again. Let's do this again tomorrow. It's a whole 10 days, innovative, creative, and special. Until we see you again tomorrow, inshallah, bi kudratillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.